All right, so today we're going to prep you for a pill maker operator interview.
Oh, cool.
It's a job that's way more important than I think people realize.
Yeah.
When you think about it, every pill we rely on starts with M, right?
It really does.
And you sent over a ton of really interesting resources,
Yeah.
a career guide, an interview guide, and even some info on this AI tool called RoleCatcher.
Oh, wow.
So let's use this deep dive to get you ready and confident to just nail that interview.
You know, it's so interesting to me how many people don't realize the skill it takes to do this job.
Really?
Yeah, it's not just pushing buttons. You need to know your stuff. You got to solve problems and have a sharp eye to catch any issues with quality.
Okay, so before we jump into the interview questions, let's set the scene for our listener. What exactly does a pill maker operator do all day?
So picture this. You're in a pharmaceutical manufacturing facility, spotless, clean rooms, impressive pilling machines everywhere.
All right, in there.
Okay, so the operator runs the whole show for making pills on their machine. They load the ingredients, they tweak all these settings, like how much force to use to pack the pills, and they're constantly checking the machine's output.
So they're like a conductor.
They really are, and on top of that, they're the ones fixing any little problem that comes up,
Oh, wow.
making sure that every single pill is perfect and meets those strict quality standards.
Got it. And from the career guide, it sounds like there's a real demand for skilled operators right now.
You got it right on the nose. The aging population and the growing need for medicine means job security and a promising career path.
That's great.
Yeah, and for the right person, the attention to detail and problem solving can be really engaging.
So on to the interview questions. We're going to cover a bunch from your guide and really break down what the interviewers are looking for.
Sounds good.
The first one is, can you describe your experience operating pill-making machines?
Okay.
Seems pretty straightforward. But what are they really trying to figure out?
They want to hear about your hands-on experience.
Yeah.
Give them the details, the specific machines you've used, your responsibilities, where you trained on certain models.
Right.
Think back to your work history and pick out the parts that really connect to the job you're applying for.
I bet interviewers have heard it all, from vague answers to super technical jargon.
Oh, yeah.
What's the best approach?
Keep it clear and concise.
Okay.
Imagine you're talking to a friend who's curious, but not an expert in the field.
Yeah.
Say something like, in my last job, I ran a rotary tablet press and handled everything from loading materials to adjusting the compression force. I even got trained on how to troubleshoot common malfunctions.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it gives them a clear picture without getting too lost in the technical weeds.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of follow-up questions could come after that?
They might want to dig deeper into something specific. You mentioned, like, tell me more about how you adjusted the compression force, or describe a time you had to troubleshoot a machine malfunction. Really be ready to back up those details with solid examples.
Okay, so stay sharp. Right, on to the next question. How do you ensure the pills you produce meet quality standards? I could already feel the pressure with that one.
Right. It's not enough to just know the steps. You have to show them you're serious about making safe and effective medicine.
Right.
The career guide mentioned a bunch of key quality checks and standards that are used everywhere. If you work those into your answer, it shows you've done your homework.
So it's more than just saying, I follow the rules.
Exactly. Say something like, I followed a strict quality control process, including visually inspecting the tablets, checking their weight with calibrated scales, and doing hardness testing to make sure they met all the specs.
Got it.
Now you're speaking their language.
I like it.
Also, if you have any certifications like GMP, which stands for Good Manufacturing Practices, definitely mention that it shows how much you care about quality.
This might be a good spot to mention RoleCatcher, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was reading that their AI can actually analyze job descriptions to find those keywords and skills employers are looking for,
That's right.
which could be super helpful in tailoring your answers.
Absolutely. If the job ad stresses a certain quality standard, RoleCatcher will pick up on that, and you can weave that right into your response.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to question number 3. Can you describe any experience you have with troubleshooting pill-making machines?
Okay.
Sounds like they're trying to see how you think on your feet under pressure.
Absolutely. Pill-making machines are complex things, can and do go wrong, so they need to know you can handle it calmly and effectively.
Of course.
The key here is having a story ready to go. The career guide talked about some common machine issues. Maybe you've run into something similar.
Yeah.
Pick a situation where you figured out the problem and solved it.
Okay, so story time. What would a good story sound like?
Something like this. One time the tablet press started making tablets that were different thicknesses. I followed the troubleshooting steps checking the feeder system, and the dye fill Turned out it was a worn-out punch causing the problem. I swapped it out, and everything was back to normal.
Okay, so clear, concise shows you know what you're doing.
Exactly. And what about follow-up questions?
Oh, they'll want more details like, walk me through your troubleshooting process step by step, or what tools did you use, or how did you figure out the root cause? Have those answers ready.
Okay.
Be prepared.
All right, so far so good. We're moving right along.
Yeah, this is great.
You ready to tackle some more?
Oh yeah, bring it on. Welcome back. We're diving even deeper into these pillmaker operator interview questions, getting you totally prepped to show off your skills and experience.
All right, let's pick up where we left off. Question number 4. How do you ensure you're following safety procedures while operating the pill-making machine? Safety's got to be a huge deal in any manufacturing environment, especially when you're working with medicine.
It's absolutely essential, and interviewers want to see that safety is not just something you know about. It's like second nature to you. It's how you work.
Got it.
The career guide had a whole section on safety rules for pill making, mentioning those shows you've really done your research.
Okay, so it's more than just saying, I always wear my safety goggles. Right, think about the specifics. Like, before I even turn on the machine, I always check that the safety guards are in place and the emergency start button is working. I'm always watching out for potential dangers like dust and fumes, and I always make sure the ventilation system is running properly.
So you're painting a picture of someone who takes safety really seriously.
Exactly.
Okay, what about follow-up questions? Could they throw in like a what-if scenario?
Definitely. They might ask something like, what would you do if you saw a coworker not wearing their gloves? Or tell me about a time you had to stop production because of a safety issue. They want to see you can handle those situations responsibly.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's move on to question 5. Can you describe any experience you have with cleaning and maintaining pill-making machines? I imagine keeping things clean is super important in this environment.
It goes beyond just cleanliness. It's about preventing contamination and making sure those machines run smoothly. They want to know you're meticulous and you understand the procedures. The career guide mentions specific cleaning products and methods used in the industry. If you can work those into your answer, it shows you really know your stuff.
So instead of saying, I wipe it down at the end of my shift, I should say something like,
Exactly. I followed a strict cleaning protocol using approved sanitizing solutions to clean the tablet, press the hopper and the feed frame after every production run. I also did regular maintenance like lubricating moving parts and checking for any wear and tear.
okay, so you're showing them, the details, you pay attention.
Exactly.
What about follow-up questions where they ask about specific cleaning methods?
Oh, for sure. They might ask, describe how you'd clean the die in punches, or what steps would you take to stop cross-contamination between batches? So be ready to get specific.
Okay, next up, question number 6. How do you prioritize tasks and manage your time while operating the pill-making machine? Sounds like they want to know if you can handle a busy workday.
It's a fast-paced environment,
Yeah.
so managing your time is key. They're looking for someone who's organized and can keep things moving.
Makes sense.
The career guides stress the importance of sticking to production schedules and meeting deadlines. Those are great points to bring up.
So what's the best way to show off my organizational skills?
You could say, I prioritize my tasks based on urgency and deadlines. I use a checklist to make sure I don't miss any steps in the production process, and I communicate clearly with my team so everything runs smoothly. That shows you're proactive and you take responsibility.
Okay, what about follow-up questions might they ask about a specific time I had to juggle multiple tasks?
For sure, they could say something like, tell me about a time you had to change your schedule to handle a rush order, or how do you deal with unexpected delays or problems? Be ready with a real-life example that shows how adaptable you are.
Okay, we're making good progress here. On to question number 7. Can you describe any experience you have with batch records and documentation? Documentation, maybe not the most exciting part of the job, but I bet it's important.
It's absolutely crucial in pharmaceuticals. Everything has to be documented perfectly. It's all about traceability, accountability, and making sure you're following all the regulations.
Right.
The career guide mentioned how important GMP guidelines are for documentation. Definitely highlight that.
So instead of saying, yeah, I've filled out some paperwork, I should say.
I kept detailed batch records for every production run, recording things like raw material lot numbers, processing parameters, and quality control results. I know how important accuracy and legibility are in batch records. That shows them you understand and you pay attention to the details.
That makes a lot of sense. Any possible follow-up questions about documentation?
They might ask, what software have you used for batch record keeping? Or
Okay.
describe a time you had to fix a mistake in the documentation. Be ready to show off your expertise.
And speaking of expertise, this might be a good time to bring up RoleCatcher again.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Their AI can actually go through your resume and job descriptions to find any skills gaps. So if you're lacking experience with certain software or documentation practices, RoleCatcher can flag that and give you a chance to brush up before the interview.
It's like having your own personal coach pointing out areas where you can improve. Technology can be a huge help in your job search.
Okay, let's tackle the next set of questions. You ready for more?
Bring it on.
Okay, we're back for our final round of interview prep.
Right.
I'm feeling pretty confident after going through those first 7 questions.
That's the spirit. And remember, even if you trip up a little, it's all about how you bounce back, show them you're a quick learner, and you're always ready to improve.
Great advice. Okay, question number 8. How do you ensure you're following all the regulatory requirements and guidelines while operating the pill-making machine? This feels like a big one.
It is. Pharmaceutical manufacturing has a ton of regulations, and they want to make sure you take compliance seriously. If you mention specific regulatory bodies like the FDA and key guidelines like CGMP, it shows you really know what you're talking about and you understand the importance.
So it's about showing them, I get why the rules are there.
Exactly. Instead of just saying, I always follow the SOPs, try something like, I understand that CGMP guidelines are crucial for making sure the medicines we make are safe and effective. I follow them meticulously, from documenting every single step to keeping my workspace clean and organized. You're not just following rules, you're showing them. You're all about quality.
Yeah, I like that. What about follow-up questions? Could they give me a what-if scenario to see how much I know?
Oh, definitely. They might ask, what would you do if you noticed something off in the batch record? Or how would you handle a machine malfunction that could affect the quality of the product? Be ready to explain how you'd think through those situations and show them you're committed to following the rules.
Okay, question number 9. Can you describe any experience you have with training and mentoring other pill-making operators?
This one seems like it's about leadership. It is. Even if you've never had a formal training role, think back to times when you've helped coworkers learn new things or solve problems. They're looking for someone who can share their knowledge and create a good team environment.
So even those informal mentoring moments are worth mentioning.
Absolutely. You could say something like, I'm always happy to help my coworkers. One time, a new operator was having trouble with the tablet coding machine. I took some time to explain everything step by step and showed him some tricks for troubleshooting. He picked it up fast, and it felt good to help him succeed. See, you're highlighting your leadership skills without bragging.
That's a good example. What about follow-up questions might they ask about my training style or approach?
Yeah, they might ask, how would you train someone on a brand new piece of equipment? Or how do you make sure trainees understand and follow safety protocols? Have some answers ready.
Okay, last question. It's a good one. How do you stay up to date with the latest advancements in pill-making technology and techniques? I have to admit, I hadn't really thought about that before reading the career guide.
It's important to keep learning and growing in any job, but especially in pharmaceuticals, where technology is always changing. If you show them you're curious and you take the initiative to learn new things, that's a big plus.
So how can I prove that I'm committed to staying current?
Talk about specific resources you use, like industry magazines, online forums, conferences. You could say something like, I subscribe to Pharmaceutical Technology magazine and follow industry blogs to keep up with new trends in pill making. I also went to a webinar recently on new tablet coding techniques that shows them you're actively trying to learn.
Okay, what about follow-up questions would they ask about specific technologies or trends?
They might be ready to talk about a technology that interests you or share your thoughts on how automation is changing the pill making process.
Yeah, we covered a lot today. I feel like I have a much better understanding of this whole career path now.
Remember, this deep dive is just the start. Keep exploring, keep learning, and use the resources you have, like RoleCatcher's AI tools, to really personalize your prep and boost your confidence. You got this.
Great advice. And speaking of RoleCatcher, I was reading about their AI-powered interview practice feature. You can record yourself answering these questions, and their AI will give you feedback on how you sound and what you say. Talk about a game changer.
Technology can be a huge help when you use it the right way.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We've given you the knowledge and the tools to ace that pill maker operator interview. Now go out there and knock their socks off.
Good luck. Remember, your passion for this field will show through. And as the industry keeps changing, keep thinking about the unique skills and perspectives you can bring to the table. The future of pill making is in your hands.